Hello, on this lovely January evening. Sun's about to go down and get dark, so I thought I'd better do this before I lose all light out here and have to resort to headlamps if I'm not done. I'll be transporting the 3 Polish chicks that I've got. They were hatched last spring, so they're not a year old, and they need a bigger space. And then when I get them out, I'm going to start taking apart all the coops I made last year using these 2-foot by 4-foot panelings. I've got some odd size ones that are they're all 4 foot long or tall, depending on how that's situated, but they're not all exactly 2 feet. These are roughly close to, almost, some exactly 2 feet, as in 24 inches on the shorter sides. So I finally came up with an idea, and this is my prototype, and the next ones will all be with panels. The roof is not with panels. I just, to save on material, I just put the 2x2s across, and some aren't even painted, as you can see. And playing with this design, you know, realizing, doing it this way, I need to put these crosses to keep the in place side with the swinging side, you know, firm. Otherwise there's going to be a little bit more give. So learning some of that, which won't matter if I'm doing panels on the top or in the centers. So, and it can be done, you know, 3 panels up this way, like I did on that corner, or 1 on the bottom like that, and 2 up here. The doors, this is tall enough, you know, I'm tall enough to step over this and into the coop, and no one's here to lock me in. So I'm able to come in here and do what needs to be done. This is rigged. I'll come up with something better. I've got a bunch of these left from a bathroom closet. I don't like these in my closets. I like them in the greenhouse. I like them for utility type uses. I prefer real solid or pressed wood stuff in the closet. So, and I didn't want to bring one of the longer ones in here because I've got specific uses for those. So I just used some temporary metal tie wraps. I'll get some zip ties to it. If this is the good length, I can lengthen it some more, shorten it. But this gives them access. I'm using coroplast, and you can see it allows a good bit of light through, but gives them some protection. This is UV rated for outdoor use, so it should hold up, but I don't really trust plastics to hold up in this South Carolina sun, especially during the summer, so I'll give it a summer to go through. But I originally had plywood up here and was trying to do stuff when I realized, oh yeah, I got those coroplast, and they're a little bit easier to deal with, and I like it. But see, I can get in and out. I am 5'8", and this is a little under 6 feet, depending on, you know, how it's arranged. But with this inner, it's barely 6 feet at the tops. It should be, but you know, at the ground level, I'm standing on a brick. The feed and water will go there, so they can't scratch and get it as dirty as fast. It's still going to get dirty. I still got to get handles, but I can use, you know, use this to open and close by and lock it in. This hardware cloth, I've talked about it in other videos. I'll mention it again. Chicken wire is good for keeping chickens in or out of something, but it normally won't deter a predator very much, and you can, a good sized domestic cat can tear through that if it wanted to. A bobcat definitely can. A big dog easily can. Raccoons can. Think of them as cats with little bandit masks. And I came up, I'm going to order, this is only 20 inches wide, so it didn't cover the, let's see, this is 21 inches. So I'm fine with leaving that here. If I don't replace the coroplast pieces, I am going to drill holes because they need some ventilation. You can't leave their, what do you call it? The roosting area without ventilation. So I got it on the outside. On the back I have plywood. It was all plywood initially, and I'm going to redo this with metal, but it needs supports. So if I'm going to do, this is actually roof flashing, and see how that holds up, but it will need some cross pieces. I would do 3. That may be overkill, maybe not enough, but I would do a middle and the quarter lengths to support that, so that, because it's not that much better than aluminum foil. It's very easy to work with. I cut it with scissors. I have a shear that that goes on my electric drill, and that works. So the roost is independent of the rest of it, and this is where I had it stored, and it stained, and I tried to wash some of it off, and that wasn't coming off, so I just gave up. Anyway, the roof isn't quite finished. I can do that tomorrow. So I'm waiting for it to get dark. I'm putting 5-gallon bucket nesting boxes here, and I'm going to put 2 of them up here so that they can't roost on it and get it all nasty. I'm going to put some sort of mulch, not mulch, straw. And I like this versus the regular, what do you call it? The regular chicken coop design that looks like a house with the lift latch. I like it that I can do this with all panels. I will come back and replace these inner panels, especially the floor, with a shorter, instead of 4 feet, it'll be 45 inches. Instead of 48 inches, it'll be 45 inches, and it'll fit in between easily. And I probably will replace this too, and the outside, before I start building the next coop, which is going to share this wall. So I have to do that before I do start screwing things in here, and I won't be able to easily change that without dismantling the one that's coming here. Originally I had this coop 8 feet over this way, and we're going to start the second coop on that end, and I realized, oh, I really would spare myself material by sharing walls where I can. I mean, it's going to share that wall by coming out with the panels here and there, so that I can run these however long I want to, going in 4-foot increments. But the expense comes in the nesting area, and I'm trying to think of ways to do it as cheaply and effective and long lasting, because if it doesn't last, then that's just going to, waste money. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see, because I think I will leave the coroplast roof up there, but I'm going to change these sides and that one with some combination of more 2x2s and metal. And I'm aware that during the summer it gets very hot, and having them inside of a metal box is not a good idea. Without ventilation, they're smart. They're not going to stay in there and cook. So I'm still playing around with what's going to work best. I kind of like the idea of combining the two, having this on there, and some way to, it wasn't hard to just put that on there, and I can take that off anytime. And I don't have to worry about painting it. There is some flashing that you can get with a white vinyl already attached. Kind of looking at different options, trying to see what's going to work, and I'm playing with that. But hopefully in the next couple of months I'll actually be selling some of these. And we'll see. I still got to get the pricing and everything. But it definitely, having to do a lot of rigging, because I didn't use the panels on this, and I really regret that. I think I need to come back and take this whole thing apart and put panels with the coroplast or metal. Keep in mind that the coroplast will not be in direct contact with what predators will have access with, except on the roof, which I think I'm going to do something else with. So you have to remember that what what you're trying to keep out, as well as keeping the chickens in. You have to keep that in mind when you're building a coop versus one of these pre-made kits, which here's the access door, and I've had to go in there to try to get chicks that were way in the corner. I don't even want to open up. I don't want to know what's in there now. No telling what's taking up residence. Ooh, bad. That is from the bottom here. It just fell out. Good thing chickens weren't in there. In another video, I complained about how that worked. I had to redo the drill holes on that because it didn't line up. It didn't work. So that's $300. I can't even comfortably crawl in that, much less stand in that. But not be wasteful. I will come back and redo this one and make a hatchery, or if I just get small chicks and don't have a mama chick, or even put the mama chick in there. So it can be a nursery. But even with this one, I cut the hardware cloth on the other side and made a little enlarged run, double their space. No, I think I did more than double. I'm standing on a concrete pad up here that the previous owner was going to make a log cabin on, but it will make a good little site for me to set up a table and chair for me to sit here. And when I've got a coop there and a coop there, and they're both going to be silkies in the end. They're going to be two different flocks of silkies, and I'm going to have the small cube that I already made first. I think I'm going to continue to use that since it's an odd size and it won't fit quite right, maybe for roofing. But I'm going to use that like a temporary nursery or a hospital for any injured bird that needs to be removed, because if you have an injured bird, the rest of them will pick on it. And then I'm going to build out another 8 feet or so, and there's an angle in here, I need to look more closely, where I can't go straight. And I'm going to do like just a roofed over shelter, not for the chickens, but for me to put feed and stuff. And I'm just going to go down this line, however many feet. I'm looking at 8, 16, 24, maybe 36 feet of chicken coop right here, plus or minus, with that little bit of shelter to put the feed and different things. I have easy access to water over here. I have a place, I'm going to set up a sink, because that's another thing. Just whatever you make easier, you'll do more often. It's not drudgery, and I want to be able to come out and enjoy the chickens like I was before. So that's what I'm going to do. And I still have to keep this area. That's not staying, of course. This area this is one of the loops that comes around and goes over there. And I'll be able to set up a sink, and I can just do a drain right into that hole right there. See that short little PVC sticking up? That's supposed to be for a toilet, I think. But it doesn't go into the septic, which is down there. It drains out to a hole over there. It wasn't actually connected to the septic system. So I can just do water, because it's just water and chicken stuff. That's going to go down and do a little drain down there. But I can easily put something there so I have a cover for myself and the sink area that I'm going to build up. I've got 3 kitchen sinks that are not in a counter or anything, along with 2 laundry sinks. That a project for that one. So lots of stuff in 2019, Lord willing. No more injuries. So I'm really excited. I hope your year's going well and gets even better. Thanks for joining me. Please, any suggestions, improvements, materials? That's the big thing, trying to find materials. My idea, and I'm sharing it on YouTube. It's not like I'm being stingy with this. I think if you can do this, please, and please share with me anything you found that's made it easier for you or more cost effective. I'm looking for materials that's lightweight, because the whole thing with this is you can add on to an existing coop easily. Just buy whatever number of panels you need. Or you can start a coop. The nesting box is the biggie. Doing that, collecting eggs. So whatever ideas, I would like to do it all out of wood. I got some ideas to do it with these panels, so I'm gonna sell it per kit. So like if you wanted to get a kit that's all these panels, there's 18 panels right here, and it would need 4 more panels on top for 22, and then it would need 3 panels, short panels, that would fit there, one with the door. You don't need the access door, because it's all enclosed. This is where they come in. They shouldn't fly out. If the door's not open, and you're standing right here, they're not going to come. I've had chickens try to get past my feet on the dog kennels, but in this setup, I don't see them trying to scoot past me. They may try to fly past me, so I'll get them here. But this is what do I say? 22 panels, and then 3 short panels, and then I have one price for all of it, and then prices for just plain panels with the hardware cloth, and then plain panels with the foil, with the aluminum panels, and then I'm going to have prices for the short, different prices for the shorter panels, and then a panel with the door. And I will put a actual door into that, because people seem to want that. So different access. The hinge panels, it's not hard to sell. Like the hinge panels would become, that's the price of these 2 panels. And this one, I have it onto the same panel, but if I was selling it, it would be the other way, and they would both be opening up that way. I don't know why I did it that way. It was just the next one to do. And so they would be sold as 2 panels, different price. Different price when it's just hardware cloth or something, something else on there, coroplast or this material. I'm going to sell it as a mini cube, super cube, super cube, and then individual panels. I want to keep the design simple. Like here, I could have used 1x2 hardware cloth, and the poop would go down, but they have access to that. So if we put the cube out on the outside of it, it could go there and be easily raked for the garden or whatever, and they still would have the 4 foot by 8 foot space in their run. And my daughter, the super coop, the deluxe coop in the video that we made, my husband made for our daughter, those chickens could use an additional run, so I can make this. And I don't know why all of a sudden that's not lining up. It's getting cold, and I'm getting cold. So I'm really excited about this. It's finally done. I'm finally going to get to move the chickens over tonight. The Polish, like I said, I'm don't plan on keeping them. I'm just going to stick to silkies, the Easter eggers, and a couple of layer and meat flocks that I'm going to keep separated for just breeding purposes. And the silkies are used to incubate and take care of new babies. So having a space, and each mama really should have her own space with her chicks because they go nuts. They're not good at sharing, and they'll sometimes forget which one's their babies, and they try to steal other babies and drama. So I'm just excited. I can go on and on about this as I already have. Sorry. Thank you for joining me again. I'm having fun with this. I've working out the bugs and the design, what I have in my head, and then trying to do it. You know, it's like, oh, okay, it's going to require this and this. So I really fought building different size panels. I wanted to stick. I was just stuck on having 2-foot by 4-foot panels, period, and work with that. And it could. I mean, I technically could squeeze in panels like here and then try, I just said, okay, just make the 45-inch long panels, stick with the 2-foot sides, so that variable doesn't change, and that one will only change for the inner cubes, and it could be made shorter. We could, for the regular cube, the mini cubes are just 4-foot by 4-foot, the bottom as you see, and then the two top panels will have a 2x2 in between that's hinged on, and that 2x2 is screwed into the sides on the ends. That way you can open either side to access that. So if you have rabbits, you know, they don't roost, so you can do rabbits. These cages are not just for chickens. And the regular cube is just that, 4-foot by 4-foot by 4-foot. And it can have this in half, and so you know, it'll only be 4 feet tall, so it'll only be up to about here. So you could do a roost and nesting box here. I would have the side, you know, of course the side would hinge. It wouldn't be a tall panel there. You don't want any of the hinge panels on the ground. You're gonna have problems. It's just a matter of when, not if. And then the super cube is this, with all panels. So that's my idea. What do you think? I'm sure I've overlooked something. I better end it before I get rambling again. Thank you for joining me. Be a blessing and be blessed.